This is experimental. It's also helping me with one of the cards that I'm going to create, well, that I already started, but I want to finish today and get it out in the mail. And it has a sky and cloud theme, so I'm going to be doing that in the journal today, working with the sky theme and showing you a fun background technique using gelatos and stamps. And so the way I made this glimmer mist, by the way, was with Reeves watercolor, one of their little tubes in blue. It's a clear stamp. You can easily see how much color is going down. Okay, so that's a nice amount of very rich color. The great thing with gelatos, they're very versatile. I've used them a lot, and they are reactive with water. So I'm going to take my just water and spray that stamp just a couple of times, and then I'm going to go in and start to make a background. Now, these are flowers, but what I noticed when I was stamping them onto another surface is that with the stop here for a moment and dry the page. Okay, so we're back and our surface is dry. What I'm first going to do is lay down this Americana acrylic paint in cool white, and then I'm going to be putting the Lumiere light body metallic acrylic over it. It's in 576 highlight blue. So this is an iridescent color and it has a blue tinge to it, and because I have already worked with the Lumiere iridescent paints, I know that they will not, they won't be opaque, and so I want to lay down an opaque color first as a base. And I'm just using the Sukaniko. This is a stipple brush, and I usually use it with embossing more so I'm going to have to wash this immediately after I use it because I don't want to wreck this brush. I love this brush. And I'm just starting to swirl in some little clouds there. Quick tip for acrylic paints, I usually use the cap to dab from. That way there's no waste, or less waste than if you put it into a palette. So a lot of times when I would set up paints in the palette, it's difficult to get it back in the container once it's on that palette, and if you end up not using some of it, it's a bummer because, you know, I hate to waste. If I can avoid it, I do. Okay, so just tapping in and just doing a swirling motion. A little bit of the blue from the background is peeking through. And of course clouds are always in different shapes, so I want to get some different shapes on there. I want one that's kind of coming in off the edge here. Looks like it's just floating through the sky. And I still want to leave a fair amount of the background unpainted because I want that to show on this page. And with these clouds, they are going to be a background, so once I decide what I'm going to do with the rest of the page, whether it's, you know, lettering, a word or words on there, or a poem or something like that. I can do that. Sometimes I'll do that with art journal backgrounds. I'll just let it sit for a day or two or even weeks, and then later on I'll have an idea of what I want to put on top of it. Okay, now I want a nice big fat cloud towards the bottom here. And I really like what the baby wipe did right here. It sort of emptied out some of that color, and I don't want to cover that up because I like that effect. It looks like a color wash. I was watching Joggles LLC, some of her videos. I've watched a lot of her technique videos, and she had uploaded one today called Adding and Subtracting, and showing how with sprays she was using the Diane Reevely Dilution sprays to add color and then take it away, and it was awesome. It just showed how you can put some color down, then dab away, and use stencils to take away. And I hadn't thought of using stencils like that before, so I definitely want to try out that technique. Not sure how in frame I am still here with this lower cloud, but it's the big one. It sort of is attaching to a littler one, reaching out to meet it. And when you get these globbers, technical term globbers, in your acrylic paints, see this little balled up, whatever the material is, I guess maybe the binding agent in the acrylic paint, see how that, you get those little pieces, and as long as the page is still fairly wet, you can get them off, or you can sometimes brush it off when it's dry, but I try to get to them right away because I don't want it to get stuck to the page, unless you're going for a real globby textured look, and then it could actually add to your project. But in this case, I want the clouds to be texturized, but I don't want it to look like there's like little globs of gunk on them. Okay, so I'm going to give this a quick shot with my heat gun and come back with the Lumiere, and then we'll be finished. See you in a minute. Brush now. This brush soaks up a lot of the medium. And what I like to do if I have leftover paint or ink is look around for something that I can coat. So I'm going to look for something that I have here already. Last night I was trying out a red shimmer with that duotone red and blue Pearl that I told you about, and so I'm going to go, this is a crumpled gilded scrapbook sheet that I had cut out from some papers that I had gotten at Michael's. They had when they do the single sheet sale, I grabbed a bunch of different textured pages, and this was one of them. So it's just sort of gold, and I'm going to use some of that excess paint to just add a little bit of iridescence in there. Might as well, because it's in the brush. I'm going to just pop this over here in my little jar of water and show you the sky background. And as you can see, that Prima stamp, which is actually little flowers, looks more like stars. And that is my finished art journal background. Thanks a lot for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you see. I do a lot of mixed media tutorials and art journaling. Thanks so much, YouTube. Bye-bye.